Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. We're talking a little bit about wrestling and Survivor Series 2016 coming right up around the corner. You're in the car with me. I'm on my way to work, as you can see by looking out the window. The morning commute, we're not going all that fast. But last night, I think most people probably sat around watching the election coverage of what's going down on TV. Donald Trump is now the president, a WWE Hall of Famer in the White House. I'll honestly tell you that I talked a lot about this at SummerSlam when it was rumored that Trump was going to make an appearance on the show, and sort of said what I thought. I didn't think that Donald Trump had a shot in hell in winning. I honestly thought that Donald Trump said a lot of positive things about the United States. I also thought Donald Trump said a lot of negative things about the United States, and I wish another candidate would have taken the positives and taken those and ran with them. I think it's a miracle. I don't know how it happened. A lot of people are saying that when they do those polls, they weren't asking the right people. Donald Trump's the president of the United States. He'll take over in January. I'm surprised as anybody. But last night on Smackdown, they were over there in Scotland. They had Becky Lynch go up against Alexa Bliss. Becky Lynch was able to lock in that armbar, and even though Alexa Bliss was all up in the ropes, she tapped out. The match was over, and that's the end of that. And now on to Survivor Series, I guess, where they all have to team up with each other. But at the end of the show, they ran an injury angle with Baron Corbin, where Baron Corbin slipped off of the ring. He landed down there and he hurt his knee. And they immediately took him out of the Survivor Series match. Best part about it, though, was Kalisto running over and delivering the drop kick to Baron Corbin's knee, adding insult to injury, just basically saying, fuck your shit. But at the end of the show, they kept on hyping up who's going to join Team Smackdown. I guess they kept on thinking that they had to make the announcement right there on the spot because of the face-to-face that's going to be going down between Daniel Bryan, Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon, and Shane McMahon on Monday Night Raw this week. I think they're live from Buffalo. Basically, Daniel Bryan came out and he had a list of people that he wished would have joined Team SmackDown, but honestly said the one person that was out there that was going to bring the most heart and realized that he had the most on the line to give to the match was Shane McMahon. And all the fans chanted along, yes, 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 with Daniel Bryan. And now Shane McMahon is joining AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, and Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series, and it's going to be I don't think it's going to be the main event, but it's going to be the second biggest build match on the card. And it's sort of surprising. You look at the teams. You've got a lot of people that are fighting within each other. Some people say there's a storyline going on where Randy Orton is tricking the Wyatts, sort of luring them into thinking that they're all together, and in the end, Orton's going to fuck them. Maybe some people think that Randy Orton is actually with Bray Wyatt, and he's sort of been hypnotized and joined the group. I can give it to you that it's original. I honestly thought when the Wyatts first came in that they would do something like this, where they would hypnotize like a Zack Ryder, and they would bring in a fan favorite and make him part of the Wyatt group, but they didn't do it. Now they got Randy Orton, a guy that has a lot of fans, but in my mind it bores the shit out of me because it always seems like he never has anything going on unless he's the world heavyweight champion or the WWE champion, and they never really have a secondary sort of program for him if he's not in the main event thing going down. But Shane's going to join this heel team. He's going to try to bring everybody together, Team Blue against Team Red. I am very surprised. I mean, yesterday I didn't know this was going to happen because I hadn't read the spoilers yet, but I was saying that in my, if you're going to go, fucker. I was saying that in my Survivor Series video about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, that a lot of people say the plans are going to be that Shane is going to fight against Brock at WrestleMania, and I don't know how you connect the dots, seeing how SummerSlam was so long ago and they've never followed up on basically the the angle between Stephanie and Shane, where Stephanie only gave Brock a 5,000 or five. I think it was 500. It was 500 or 5,000, but I think it was really cheap. That's why I think it was $500 fine for beating the shit out of her brother, which is sort of like an insult because of how much money we know that Brock made for wrestling at SummerSlam, and how it's so little money for the fact that she beat up her brother. She should be willing to throw the whole roster at Brock, just saying everybody's gonna kick your ass trying to get revenge. But instead, because of the Raw versus SmackDown and the McMahon versus McMahon feud, she just sort of let it slide. And I don't know, it reminds me a lot of Survivor Series 2001 when Shane McMahon went out there to fight for Team WCW. A lot of people thought that Vince was going to join his team, WWF team, sort of for the McMahon versus McMahon, but he ended up not doing it. And I don't know, it brought a lot of it brought a lot of fun to the match, having Shane there in 2001, and I think it's going to do the same thing here. I remember how people went crazy for Shane when he returned to WWE around WrestleMania time, and then they announced that he was going to fight Undertaker, and then announced he was going to fight in the Hell in the Cell. A lot like how Sting was a person that everybody wanted to talk about at WrestleMania 31 weekend. Shane McMahon definitely was a person that everybody wanted to talk about at WrestleMania 32 weekend, and I know that there's a long time forward. I think Shane is working his way back into the company. They haven't announced what his official role in the company is, but there's no doubt in my mind that Vince is going to find something for Shane to do, and he's got to be doing more than just being an on-stage or on-screen performer. I think that Shane will eventually be a part of team corporate WWE, and whether if it's him running the website or him doing something with TV or him helping with promos or anything that he could be able to do, I'm sure that he'll take a larger role inside of the company. But I would love to have a Shane McMahon access VIP. I think that Shane is a guy that a lot of people would love to meet, get a picture, and share their favorite Shane memory with him. I'm excited when you look at this match. I think that honestly, in my mind, SmackDown has to win the men's match because the men's match is the one match that means more than anything. The women's match, honestly, in my mind, is going to go to Team Raw just because of the fact that Charlotte is there, and unless they're going to do some sort of a storyline where her whole team turns on her, seeing how she has more baby faces than heels on her team, and basically takes a stand for the women's division, I don't see any way that that Charlotte's not going to win that one. But if you look back at bragging rights, for years when they ran bragging rights, Team SmackDown won almost every match to the point where I think Miz beat Morrison, and that was the only win for Team Raw. Like, Miz was heralded as the savior of Raw for making sure that they didn't get swept in this, that, and the other. But I think this is going to be a really, really fun match. Besides for the fact that, when I look back at classic Survivor Series matches, whether if it's team, the Hulkamaniacs or the Rude Broods or the Ultimate Warriors or, all those old teams back in the day, whether if it's LOD teaming with the Texas Tornado and the Ultimate Warrior, let's see, who else was there? Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man, who else was on there? Was that Ken Patera, Coco Beware, and Bam Bam? I think I got 2 years mixed up there, but of Hulkamania teams. But those teams really made sense. They were all friends. They were all fighting the right fight. It was 5 singles feuds mixed into one big match that made you really want to care about it. This year, it's like you got Jericho, you got Owens. They're buddies. They're trying to get Braun Strowman on their side. Braun Strowman doesn't want to join them. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, they haven't really officially linked back up. They're both good guys, but they have a lot of gray in their past of basically not liking each other because of what happened when the Shield broke up. And, they've, taken titles from each other. And, that's a real rivalry. And even though you're good guys, you remember that sort of shit. A lot like, When Sheamus was a good guy and Sheamus would team with John Cena, Sheamus would come running out there to help, and Cena would never know if he was coming out there to kick his ass or not. And the same thing with CM Punk and John Cena, especially with CM Punk. When John Cena would come out there to team with him or save the day, you could always tell that CM Punk was always watching his back. Because a lot like, Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, CM Punk's a guy that doesn't really believe in John Cena and doesn't think he's as good as he says he is. That's the kind of stuff that I like. And, them putting all these baby faces and heels together and just saying, work it out for team brand supremacy doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's basically, this is, Shane versus Stephanie, and Stephanie can't get in the ring and fight her brother. We all saw what happened when Stephanie fought her dad and Vince. The match sucked. And, I don't know. I don't know how you make that match good. In my mind, honestly, I don't know who came up with it. Probably Vince. But the execution was bad, the build-up was bad, and I just wish it never happened. But that's about it. I mean, Shane joining Team Smackdown is a pretty big deal. It would have been big for Baron Corbin, although Corbin's going to get his push. He's going to have his day. I like Baron Corbin. He had to beat up my man Jack Swagger. That sort of sucked. I got my hopes up. People said that him, moving over to SmackDown meant that they were going to push him. They pushed him. He got 1 win, and then he lost 2. And we haven't seen him since. So, we'll see what goes down. So, everybody have a good day. Talk to you guys later. Survivor Series, I think it's 11 days away from today. Peace out, everybody.